In this lesson, we're going to learn how to work with a hundredths number line to plot points on the number line. Let's look at our number line first. Our number line is broken up into 100 hash marks. Here at the end, our 100 is equal to 1, or 1 whole. 1/10 of our number line we can see here is after 10 hash marks. 1/10 would be written as 0.1. 2/10 is here, written as 0.2. 3/10 is here, written as 0.3. 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, and 9/10. Now between each of those 10 hash marks are 10 smaller red hash marks, totaling 100 hash marks altogether on our number line. Now if we wanted to look at our blue arrow to label that hash mark or that point that's plotted, we would have to count the small red hash marks to find out exactly which hash mark is labeled. Now let's start at 2/10. We know that is 20 hash marks, so let's count to see where our blue arrow is. After 20 we have 21, 22, 23, 24, and our blue arrow is pointed exactly at the 25th hash mark out of 100. Or we could say that as 25 hundredths. Or you could write it as a fraction as 25 over 100ths, and it would actually be read the same way as the decimal, 25 hundredths or 25 hundredths. We always say if you can read the decimal out loud, you can then write it as a fraction, because it's said the exact same way. Now let's take a look. If we had a hash mark that was plotted directly between two of our hundredths hash marks. For example, if we had a hash mark plotted right here, we would have to first count to see which two hash marks it's between. Let's start at 5/10, or our 50th hash mark. 51, 52, 53, 54, and it is directly between 54 hundredths and 55 hundredths. Now if we wanted to find out exactly how to label that hash mark, if it is directly between 54 hundredths and 55 hundredths, we would have to break our number line up into even smaller pieces than 100. Now it's first broken into tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, all the way to 100. And each of those 10 are broken up into 10 more, which equal 100 hash marks. Now we would have to break up each of our 100 hash marks into 10 more pieces. Or you might know it as the next power of 10, which would be 1,000. Now to write these as decimals, we have 1/10, 10 hundredths, or our thousandths place is the third place to the right of the decimal. Now pretend for just a second that we had each of those 100 pieces broken up into 10 more pieces. that would be, if this was directly in the middle here, 5 pieces between 54 hundredths and 55 hundredths. Five is our decimal number that means a half. So that would be written as 54 and a half, or read correctly as 545 thousandths. Now we just did two things. We labeled the point that's directly between here, between 54 hundredths and 55 hundredths, and we also just found a decimal number that's between 54 hundredths and 55 hundredths. Now, if we wanted to list more decimals that are between 54 hundredths and 55 hundredths, there's actually an infinite amount of decimals. However, we're only going to list the ones that are to the next place over to the right of decimal after our hundredths, which is our thousandths. We could list 541 thousandths, 542 thousandths, 543 thousandths, 544 thousandths, 545 thousandths, 546 thousandths, 547 thousandths, 548 thousandths, 549 thousandths, and next we would be coming to 55 hundredths. And if this point that we plotted was directly between 54 hundredths and 55 hundredths, like we said, it would be equivalent to 545 thousandths. The important thing to remember is that our decimal way of writing a half is by saying 5, which is why we labeled our point directly between 54 hundredths and 55 hundredths by writing a 5 to our next place value to the right, which was read as 545 thousandths.